Welcome back to Living in Austin, Texas. In our most recent video, we covered Niche.com's list of the 10 best places to live in the greater Austin area, and at number 1 was Brushy Creek, Texas. And so, in this video, we're going to talk about everything you need to know regarding Brushy Creek, Texas, and hopefully by the end of this video, we'll have helped you arrive at your own conclusion as to whether or not it might be right for you. Stay tuned. Hey again everybody, this is Frank with the Living in Austin group at eXp Realty. On this channel we put out new content about living in Austin, Texas, the good and yes, the bad, so consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already and ringing that little bell to get notified anytime we put out a new video. We also love the reach outs we get now all the time from people just like you in need of our help when relocating to the greater Austin area. So keep them coming, do not hesitate. Whether you are 9 days away or 90, reach out to our team, whether you shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call any day of the week, any time of day. It is what we love to do. So yes, as mentioned in this video, we will be talking about Brushy Creek, Texas, ranked number 1 on Niche.com's list of the 10 best places to live in the greater Austin area. And just in case you didn't know, Niche.com is a website that provides all kinds of information about certain cities, towns, neighborhoods, suburbs, pretty much anywhere you can think of. It is public information. It is something that my team likes to use, that our clients have used, and that many people everywhere like to use as well. So with regards to Brushy Creek, Texas, it is a place that a lot of people like to land when they are relocating to the greater Austin area, which is why we will be diving into it in this video. And so let's waste no more time and get right to it. For starters, let's talk about Brushy Creek's location. And what makes it interesting to me is that Brushy Creek isn't necessarily a city or a town. It really is a spot when you look at the areas of Cedar Park and Round Rock, Texas, and is basically in the middle of the two. And for what it's worth, Cedar Park, Texas and Round Rock, Texas, which we will talk about quite a bit in this video, are two of the more in-demand or popular suburbs in the entire greater Austin area. They both have their own unique fair share of things to offer, and of course with Brushy Creek basically being right there in the middle of the two of them, you kind of get the best of both worlds, which is why I imagine that Niche.com ranked it first. And so back to location, Brushy Creek is going to be on average between about 25 and 35 minutes north of the city of Austin. And that does depend on, I suppose, where in Brushy Creek you are, because let's say you are perhaps closer to the Round Rock area or the outskirts, that could be 30 to 35 minutes, but let's say you're a bit more in the neck of the woods of Cedar Park, Texas, then you might be a bit closer to the city. All in all, however, in our experience, that does make it quite attractive, because if you are going to be working out of downtown Austin, it's not necessarily going to be the worst commute in the world. Now, on top of that, what also makes it even more appealing is that it is closer to that North Austin tech hub. And of course, the reason why so many people relocate to Austin in the first place would be for those tech jobs. So whether you are a young professional or perhaps an empty nester, you'll find that the general Brushy Creek area is quite convenient. Now, something else worth mentioning, and that I like to mention whenever I'm doing these videos about specific towns or suburbs, would be talking about the subject of traffic, because believe it or not, in our experience, a lot of people who commute, that's one of their first questions. Yeah, the proximity might not be too bad, but what about the traffic? Well, I'm happy to report part of what makes Brushy Creek so attractive is that it is this nice, quiet, safe, peaceful suburbia where, yes, quite a few people live, but it is going to resemble nothing like a city. However, to keep it blunt and brutally honest, as I like to do on this channel, with regards to Cedar Park, right, like if you're closer to Cedar Park, you're really not going to have an issue with that much traffic. However, because it is connected to Round Rock, Texas, that is where you might experience some actual horrific traffic. In case you didn't know, other than the city of Austin itself, Round Rock, Texas is the most populated place within the greater Austin area. And so my point being, let's say you're in Brushy Creek or perhaps closer to Round Rock, or technically even in Round Rock, the traffic situation there is going to look pretty different than if you were closer to Cedar Park, because a lot of what's near Round Rock is 35, which is a major freeway of travel in the entire state of Texas and in the country. And so if you are relatively east or west of that highway, you won't have as much to worry about, but so much of Round Rock is just right there, which means that you're going to have so much traffic from people basically commuting and trying to get off the freeway back home. All right, moving right along, let's talk about what most people, and rightfully so, care the most about, and that would be the subject of affordability. Now, regarding Brushy Creek specifically, that one area that kind of merges Cedar Park and Round Rock, your median home price is going to fluctuate between about $500,000 and $600,000, which is a bit interesting for me because let's say if you isolate Round Rock specifically, their median home price has been and will continue to be for quite some time stuck around $450,000. Let's say you're talking about Cedar Park specifically, well, Cedar Park's median home price on average is going to be around either $500,000 to maybe $520,000. And again, for both of those places, that is just the median, which means you will find options much cheaper and of course options much more expensive. Now, having said all of that, it does beg the question, why is Brushy Creek, a combination of a place that's maybe $520,000 and a place that's $450,000, why is Brushy Creek's average between $500,000 and $600,000? In my opinion, that is simply because that specific area that joins Cedar Park and Round Rock is quite lovely and you are near the best schools. You do have things to do in either way if you want to get to either Cedar Park or Round Rock. So in a nutshell, what you are essentially paying for is the best of both worlds. And that's not just me saying it, essentially that is the market saying it. Now, to naturally segue from the subject of affordability to something that is semi-related, I'd be remiss if I did not mention the subject of property taxes. If you are a longtime subscriber, you have surely heard me talk about this a billion times, so please forgive me if it is a billion and one times, but just in case anybody is new to the channel, it is worth mentioning. Property tax rates, not just in Brushy Creek, not just in the greater Austin area, but in the entire gigantic state of Texas, are often going to be higher than where a lot of people are coming from, and so it catches them by surprise. In our experience, a lot of people move here from places where the property tax rates were 0.5%, 1%, maybe 1.5%. Well, here in Texas, and of course here in Austin, and especially here in nicer parts of Austin, it is easily going to be above 2%, oftentimes 2.5%, and yes, sometimes even 3% or higher. Now, to be fair, Texas has no state income taxes, so it does kind of balance out to an extent. However, if you're not careful, those property tax rates can feel easily like a second mortgage. And so when you're doing your finances, you're dotting your I's, you're crossing your T's, you're getting your ducks in a row before buying a house, it can just sneak up on you. So I bring it up not necessarily to dissuade you or to disenchant you, but so that you are informed. Now, real quickly before moving on, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If we've been providing any value for you, consider clicking the like button as it helps our channel grow. Remember to subscribe, and lastly, share our content with anybody you know who's wanting to learn more about living in Austin, Texas. All right, up next, I did briefly mention it earlier in this video, but it is worth getting into a bit more in depth, and so we will. That would be the subject of jobs. In case you didn't know, Austin, Texas has been consistently one of the top hotspots for relocation in the entire country. And a large reason as to why that is true, perhaps not the only reason, but still a large one, would be because of the jobs, and even more specifically speaking, jobs in tech. Regarding the scene in Austin, you have companies like Facebook, you have companies like Amazon, you have companies like Apple, Tesla, Google, so on and so forth. And of course, many of those places, and of course many others that I didn't even mention, are going to be located in that North Austin tech hub. And so if you are living in that Cedar Park, Brushy Creek area, you are going to be immensely close. On average, between 10, maybe 20 minutes absolute max. Now, what's worth mentioning, however, is that if you live closer to Round Rock, Texas, or perhaps just flat out in Round Rock, yes, you are going to be close enough to tech, and a lot of people who work in Round Rock work in tech, because also in Round Rock specifically, you have Dell, for example. Like, you have your own little mini tech scene in Round Rock to begin with. But in addition to that, Round Rock has a lot to offer in terms of its jobs. Cedar Park, for example, as mentioned, is going to be more suburbia, quiet, chill, laid back, just peaceful, where you go to school and you go grocery shopping, not a whole lot going on. Round Rock, however, is more known for either its tech, for its education because of the schools and the Round Rock Independent School District, and of course healthcare, because there is so much medical infrastructure in Round Rock specifically. So I suppose if you are living in Brushy Creek and you have a job in Round Rock, as many people do, as opposed to commuting to the tech hub or downtown, it is going to just make perfect sense, which again is why so many people live there, and ultimately is what you can expect from the jobs in that area. Moving right along, let's talk about the things to do in Brushy Creek. And I am going to echo myself a little bit in terms of what I was just talking about, so apologies if I get redundant. whatsoever. But the thing is, in Cedar Park, Texas, you do have things to do, right? It's not just grocery stores and schools. You do have lovely parks, you do have shopping centers, things of that nature, bars, coffee shops, etc. However, in the case of Round Rock, similar to its jobs and its economy, because of its size and how many people live there, it really is just going to have so much more. It really is a hub outside of downtown Austin, which means you're going to have things like IKEA, you're going to have the Round Rock Premium Outlets, you're going to have Kalahari, the world's largest indoor water park / casino / resort. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but you have that as well. You're going to have Dale Diamond for baseball. Round Rock has its own downtown as well, with various boutique shops and eateries and restaurants. And to be fair, surely a lot of other things that are just escaping me in the moment right now. So ultimately, the point is, if you're living in Brushy Creek, Texas, yes, you could go into Cedar Park to just chill and do something nice and quaint, but you're also remarkably close, if not literally zoned for Round Rock itself, to everything that Round Rock has to offer. And again, that is just what makes Brushy Creek so attractive. Now, last but certainly not least, a huge reason why Brushy Creek is so desirable and why niche.com honestly probably has it at #1 would be the subject of schools. Niche.com is a website that has its own rankings and lists of school districts themselves, in addition to towns, suburbs, cities, all that kind of stuff. So you know they take that seriously, and rightfully so. Truth be told, a majority of the clients that we've helped relocate to the greater Austin area have done so with their families. And while yes, our clients have had priorities like a commute or things to do, among the top of those lists most often would be good schools for their kids. And so, unless you're going to live in the Westlake Hills, which has a median home price of right around $2 million and are zoned for the Eanes Independent School District, which is right there in that area, chances are you're going to want to live where the other highly ranked powerhouse school districts are, and of course where it's also more affordable. And so, according to niche.com, consistently year after year, 2 of the cream of the crop districts in the entire greater Austin area would be the Leander Independent School District and the Round Rock Independent School District. And here's a little newsflash: if you live in Cedar Park, Texas, there is no Cedar Park Independent School District. You are zoned for the Leander Independent School District, and then of course in Round Rock for the Round Rock District. Which means if you live in Brushy Creek, whether you are zoned for Leander or zoned for Round Rock, you are still zoned for 2 of the best school districts in all of Austin. Public school districts that to some extent resemble private schools. They have amazing funding and boosters and programs. I mean, the high school I went to years ago was in the Leander Independent School District, and we had our own brand new auditorium. We had our own high school football stadium that you could compare to some college stadiums. And of course, you can't expect the exact same from the Round Rock District. Which means if you have been planning on relocating to the greater Austin area and you've been doing your homework with places like Leander, Cedar Park, or Round Rock on your list, if you want the best of both worlds for at least 2 of those places, look no further than Brushy Creek. And so there you have it. In a nutshell, pretty much everything you'll need to know about Brushy Creek, Texas before potentially moving there, or at least realizing whether or not it's right for you. If for whatever reason it's not, rest assured there are an abundance of places to live in the greater Austin area that might be more your speed. And if it is your speed, then there you go. Look no further. Either way, that is what we are here for, helping people just like you relocate to the greater Austin area, making that move as smooth as possible and finding that perfect spot. But again, the only way we can do that is by you reaching out to us. So again, do not hesitate. Whether you are 9 days away or 90, reach out to our team, whether you shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call any day of the week, any time of day. As mentioned on this channel, we put out new content about living in Austin, Texas, the good and yes, the bad. So remember to subscribe if you haven't already and ring that little bell to get notified anytime we put out a new video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Click the like button if we've been providing any value for you. Share it with anybody you know. And until the next one, you guys, my name is Frank. This is Living in Austin, Texas, and we will absolutely catch you later.